Good afternoon, Scorpio. This is going to be your reading. I got these cards in the mail. They are Clow cards. I actually thought I was ordering some sort of oracle cards or tarot cards, and these are completely different. In fact, I had to do some background on them. They're from the TV series. It's an anime series, Card Captor, which getting the cards kind of made me interested in the series, so I've been watching it. I know that there's a certain way that, you're supposed to draw the cards and whatnot, and each card has a certain meaning, and I said, you know what, I don't do that with the tarot, so I'm just going to read these intuitively, so I'm very excited about the messages. So I'm going to get started with these cloud cards. They're kind of cool. And I will not be using the oracle. I am going to use cloud cards to, I'm going to draw them in pairs. And they're new, so they're kind of stuck together. Hope everybody had a wonderful Thanksgiving. And I hope everybody is well. All right, oops. Oops, that's too many. And I'm going to draw 10 cards. And I don't read reversals, so I believe that the cards are going to come out like they're supposed to, and I read them accordingly. All right. So the first card that we have is the Through. And so the first thing that came to mind when I got this card was going through something, and you have to get to the other side of it. And in order to do this, you have to really be grounded. What I have found that is really helpful, and understand I'm Scorpio too, is to not judge what's happening. A lot of times we have our heart set on something. That is what we have our heart set on. And sometimes something else will show up. And this happens for different reasons. This happens because, first of all, I don't know if you're like me, I'm a planner, and I like to keep backup plans and alternate plans, plans A through Z if one doesn't work out. Well, whatever you prepare for is what you get. So, as terrifying as it can be sometimes, do not have a backup plan. Because this really takes away from your faith in the situation of manifesting what you want. If you're like, I really want A, but B would be all right, C would be all right too. I mean, I'd really be happier with A, but any one of those options is fine. Well, then you're going to miss the boat. And then you have situations show up that can be very discouraging, because then you really doubt your ability to create and to manifest what you want in your physical world. So we have the Little. Humility is what I got with this card. A lot of times our self-esteem is artificial. It's like that first layer of the onion. That self-esteem is like that front that we put on for other people. And looks like my camera's lagging a little bit, so I hope I'm not cutting in and out. We put on this front for other people, and it's almost like this facade, and it can come across as arrogant sometimes, and it's false. And the reason why it's false is because, and I hope I'm not triggering anyone, I'm not here to trigger anyone, but a lot of times our self-esteem is not what we think it is. And so we put on this facade, we put on this front for other people so that they feel like, oh, well, she's all right, or he's all right. They're not, whatever it is that they're going through doesn't seem to be affecting them at all. And I'm not saying wear your heart on your sleeve, because for us Scorpios, we tend to be real proud, and we can be very egotistical at times, especially when someone hurts us. We don't want people to know it. We really want to put on this front like we're all right. But this always comes back to kind of bite you in the ass, especially when, it's 3 o'clock in the morning and you can't sleep. And you realize, I'm not all right. I'm not. I've just been fronting this whole time, putting on this brave face. So really, you don't have to put on a show for anyone. If you're hurt, no one has to know it. This is something that you really have to go inward and you really have to work on. And you don't have to convince anyone that you're all right. That message just came through very strongly for Scorpions. The bubbles. A lot of times when someone hurts us, and, this has to do with expectations. A lot of times we feel like people should move and operate like we do. Like, okay, I know that I am, this loyal, honest person. I'm just saying. And so I expect other people to be loyal and honest, but everyone wasn't raised like you. Everyone doesn't have the same conditioning, like from their childhood or whatnot. They didn't have the same upbringing. So you have to release the expectations and release the judgment of other people. If not, you're going to always be disappointed, because that disappointment kind of is retracting. It makes you want to pull in and kind of go into like this bubble where no one can hurt you, and really kind of put up these walls and shut people out. But when you do that, once again, you miss the boat. It's like this self-sabotaging behavior of, I'm going to reject you before you reject me. I don't want to be hurt again. Therefore, I'm putting on this tough front, which appears not to be humble. It appears to not to be humble, almost, like I said, this egotistical type of energy that you put out. And when you put that out, that energetic signal out, that's what you're going to get in return. We Scorpios tend to be very competitive. And when you are in that vibration, then you will attract all kinds of situations where people feel like they need to compete with you. That was a side note on that came up. But with this card, try not to shut yourself off. Just because you've been hurt, don't put yourself in this protective bubble, because you could miss out on something really amazing. All right, we have the watery, and we Scorpios, we're a water sign. And so this is all about emotions, and this was what I was talking about at 3 a.m. Really dealing, sorry, there's a helicopter going overhead. I live behind a hospital, so it gets loud here sometimes. So this is watery emotions, and this is, these have nowhere to go. Like when that dam breaks, it's very cathartic, to really be able to get these emotions out, because we do not deal with emotions well. Emotions are something that, it's almost like Scorpios consider them to be weak, but they're not. A person who can be vulnerable and open and really honest about their emotions is very strong and very brave. Because like I said, when that dam breaks, that's when you're sitting up at 3 o'clock in the morning, in your feelings. And oftentimes these feelings can present themselves as anger, because anger is kind of like this top emotion, it's this go-to emotion. And a lot of times you're not even feeling anger. It's just the safest emotion, because if you can be mad, if you can be angry, it kind of goes back to this little, this facade of putting on this front that I'm all right. I'm angry, I might beat your ass, but I'm not, and I might be crying when I do it. But you have to kind of go beyond the anger and figure out what else is going on. Because like I said, anger, kind of a lot of other emotions can come across as anger. How many times have you been hurt, really hurt, and you're just fighting mad? I know I used to be that way. I mean, I still do sometimes, it's still, and anger can really throw us off our game. I've been doing this Chopra. Go to Chopra.com. I'm telling you, I'm recommending this for everyone. It's the most amazing thing. It's like 21 days to peace. It's this meditation program. And like the first 7 days are free. And the first 7 days, just, I'm telling you, changed my life. And changed my life. Like today, the meditation today was turning, anger and, this bitterness that you have towards people that hurt you into compassion, because hurt people. And so if you can do that, not only it puts you in this vibration of forgiveness, which is good for you, but you're able to see them differently. So I've been recommending this all over the place. Like, definitely check it out, Chopra.com. All right, we have the Libra. And maybe you're involved with a Libra. I mean, that was like the first thing that I got with this card. And you know what? I said I was not going to pull an oracle, but I am going to pull an oracle, because outside of Libra, I'm not sure what else to say about that card. Oops. And we got we got one, and it is strategy. So basically, with this Libra card, what I'm getting is this overthinking, this need for control, this need to know things, this need to really being in control. And, when I think back over the Libra videos that I've made, control is really kind of an issue with them. And I know my moon sign is Libra. So I don't know about you. I don't know if you know what your moon signs are. But anyway, really release that need to control, that need to know everything, that need to plan. Because we as Scorpios, we are very planning. We are very strategic. Like I said, we need to know, we need to be out ahead of things. And so more surrender is being asked for you to really step into in, your particular situations right now. Releasing the need to know. Because you know what? When you put it in the hands of the divine, that void of the unknown is where the magic takes place. Because when you are worried about the future, you're worried about tomorrow, you're worried about what's going to happen, you're not being present. And there's one thing that I've learned about conscious manifestation, is that you have to be present in order to manifest. And that means being present in all things. I know when I cook a meal, I'm completely focused on what I'm doing. When I'm driving, I'm completely focused on what I'm doing. And you really have to clear those thoughts out, and that worry and that anxiety, because that indeed, whatever it is you're anxious about, you are creating a whole situation around it. Because what we give our focus to manifests. So let's say, for example, I can't think of any examples. Let's say you're worried about like you have a health test coming up, like maybe you have to have some blood work done, maybe you have some symptoms, you went to the doctor and they're doing a test, or maybe you're getting this COVID test or whatever. You're really, really worried about it, and you're starting to tell yourself, well, what will I do if this is the case? How can I afford to miss work? What will happen with my bills? And so then you have all these things going on. Well, you have created a whole situation. And it's always better to just trust that everything is going to be exactly, my clock's getting ready to go off. So sorry. It's always better to trust and believe that everything is going to work out perfectly. Everything's going to work out magically all the time. All right, so we have the snow. And I live in the Midwest. We've already had our first snow today. It kind of flurried a little bit. I don't know where you live, but to me, this card has to do with winter. And a lot of things are going to manifest for you this holiday season. Something that, you've really wanted, your heart's desire, but you really have to follow what I was saying about releasing that control, really surrendering, really falling into this place of faith so that these things can happen this winter during the holiday season. And I really feel like this is a person, this is someone who you've really, been consciously trying to manifest, but you have to understand that a lot of times things will manifest when you stop worrying about them, when you're not even paying attention, you're off doing something else. So you're really being asked to shift your focus right now and stop waiting around for it. The illusion. So if anything shows up other than what you are working on manifesting right now, you have to look at it. You have to be the observer of it, and you have to say, okay, this is obviously what I was focused on. This was kind of like that, plans A, B, and C. Not just that, but this is showing me something. What is this showing me? And everything in the physical world is an illusion. I know, it's really, you have to really be on this level of ascension to really understand that. Like, I literally just got there, and, it's just absolutely mind-blowing when you realize that, you and I are actually, these eternal beings. We are divine beings having a human experience. So everything that's basically happening in the physical realm is an illusion. It's a projection of our fears, of our thoughts, of our upbringing, and so every time something comes up, you have to kind of look at it and be like, okay, you know what, this no longer serves me. So, this won't show up again because I'm going to clear this out. I'm going to peel this away like an onion. I guess my clock's not going to go off. All right, we have the mist. So I really feel like the mist and the illusion kind of go together, because this is almost like that veil between the physical and the spiritual realms. Really being able to see through that, being able to see through the mist, being able to, and it's really, really hard to explain if you're not there. So many times we put so much emphasis on what's going on in our physical world, and it starts within, because your outer reality is a reflection of what's going on inside of you. Just like I was saying before, with like that competitive energy, and how you'll attract that. Or, let's say, you meet someone for the first time and you're like, okay, I don't like them, and they obviously don't like me. So many times people think they're intuitive. Oh, I can read people. You're not reading, you're creating scenarios, because it just as easily could have been something else. So instead of telling yourself something negative about a situation or a person or a place or a thing, think positively about it and watch it turn around. Watch things go so much easier, rather than always expecting the worst of situations and people. Because it's not intuition. You're creating, and it can just as easily be like 10 things instead of this one thing you think it is. All right, so we have the storm. This is kind of a storm warning. Quiet Before the Storm. I've been rereading, like, I've read Florence Scovel Shinn, The Game of Life, How to Play It, like 4 or 5 times, and I've read it at different points in my journey of awakening because I have a deeper understanding of it. And she was talking about how oftentimes, right before an event, right before this breakthrough, you will have this situation pop up that you're like, there is no way I'm going to get this thing or this person or this situation that I want. How can it possibly happen now? How? And it's very discouraging when that happens, and you're just like, I just give up. But that's almost the magical energy, because when you kind of give up and release that control and those expectations, you're just like, forget it. I mean, it's never going to happen. I'm just going to move on from this. Guess what happens? That's the magic right there, because you're no longer trying to control the situation. You've gotten out of the way. So surrender is almost like giving up. Just like you inside of you, in this place, deep place inside of you, you still have this sense of knowing that somehow it's going to work out, but you're just not worried about it anymore. You're just not attached to the outcome anymore. And that is what's happening right now. It's perfect. The windy. So we got the storm clarified by the windy. And so the windy is all these things that are showing up, all these things that are just making you feel very discouraged. And discouragement, we want to judge as bad. We're like, oh, this discouragement is bad. When actually it's for our own good, because it really helps us to get into this energy here of detachment, of surrender, of, like I said, it's so close to giving up, but it's just not, because you still have that little mustard seed of faith still. And it's absolutely perfect. But anyway, with this windy, these are all these situations that are coming in, with the storm, making you feel discouraged, making you feel like giving up. And I'm not telling you not to give up, because giving up is sort of like surrender. It's just really hard to explain. But what I am saying is the message here is for you to shift your focus to something else, and kind of move on. Move on from the situation, and watch it magically appear. In fact, sometimes it'll appear and you'll be like, I don't even want it now. I don't even care. And I know that when you're like in it, when you're in the situation, you're like, how? And I'm telling you this now. You're like, how in the world could I not want it? Well, in that journey of working towards getting something that you want, you are becoming more comfortable with yourself. You're becoming more authentic. You're stepping into your power. You've discovered other things that you like to do, other people that you like to spend time with, and you're like, I'm kind of meh about it all. And then you can choose, not out of fear, not out of attachment, but choice, free choice. And that is absolutely perfect, Scorpio. Well, if you would like to have a personal reading, they are $30 this month. I am working on a website. I'm hoping to have it done this week, where I'm putting all of Tracy Smellgood's products on there. And I'm also going to have, my readings and whatnot. So really check for that link. I'm going to be putting that link here on YouTube when I finish with it. Thank you so much for watching.